Alright, so in these problems, I want you to do a think, write, pair, share. And so I'm going to give you a bunch of problems like this today and tomorrow. And I'm going to do a think out loud, which is just a strategy to pretend like I'm thinking out loud and no one's in the room. Then I'm asked to graph and describe the transformation. So you should think about it. You should think about one of their 12 basic functions, the parent function. Well, I see the bars here. That's an absolute value. Absolute value is going to be looks like a V there. Remember, you can always then rely on your graphing calculator. So the parent function, I'm going to graph in pink. If I put in x equals 0, my output is 0. If I put in 1, I get 1. If I put in 2, I get 2. If I put in negative 1, I get positive 1. If I put in negative 2, I get positive 2. So my graph looks like my parent function is a absolute value function. And basically you're kind of trying to do these problems without the visual, but I want to start you with the visual. The only thing I noticed the difference between the two functions is the what class? Well, I noticed that it's the negative 4 on the outside, so that's what I'm trying to think about. So if I graph this function, again, you can use your table of values on your calculator. If I put in 0, I get 0 minus 4 is negative 4. If I put in 1, 1 minus 3 is negative 3. And basically, if you recognize what's happening is I'm basically doing the same thing to the graph, right? Right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1. That's happening here. But the only thing that's happening is that the graph is being shifted what? Down. That's our k value, right? So let me try to make that obvious. Here in blue, it is being shifted down 4 units. Let's write that. Shifted down 4 units. Something really fancy, if you really want to get fancy, they would do something like this. In g of x, notice here you have the parent function. Instead of writing the absolute value of x, you can write f of x. So this would be super fancy. G of x equals the f of x minus 4. And then basically you could see that g of x is the same thing as this function, but just translated down 4 units.